Hello everyone, welcome to Peak Cinema. This is our first video ever, so I hope you guys enjoy. In today's video, we're going to be watching Mousetrap, so get ready, get your popcorn, and enjoy. So, the movie commences with a nice little interrogation. We then transition into a very freaky emoji for some good old retention. This is where the movie's mainly going to be taking place for the rest of the movie. So, the next clip opens up with the PDF woman. The freaky emoji should have been an omen because this woman is not right. Even though he started it, why did she reciprocate? There is no reason for this. So essentially, the child continues to trauma dump on this random woman, and she's just kind of like, yes, that's not very good. And then the child's like, you should date someone your own age, and she's like, ha. And that's about it. That's about it for this nice little section.
In the next scene, we just see how a janitor is just sitting in a movie theater, which this arcade for whatever reason appears to have, and is watching an old cartoon of Mickey Mouse out of anything. We see how he accidentally drops a cup onto a wire that appears to have been exposed for a while now, and he suddenly gets hit by the projector and all the strobe lights. He becomes schizophrenic and suddenly starts hearing voices coming from a mysterious zone in the room, which happens to have been Mickey Mouse's mask out of anything, which makes absolutely no sense as to why an arcade should have that. But we'll move past that now, and we'll see how this ends.
So in our next scene, we open up with the delicious Six Stooges. As we can see here, we have the Jacques, the birthday girl in the back behind the bar, and the nerd emoji. The Jacques is like, you're trash. The nerd emoji's not having it. He says something. The Jacques like, what did you say to me, bruh? So they get into a nice little funny argument. Birthday girl like, don't fight guys, not good. And then they're like, I want to go to a bar guys, it's my birthday. And then they're like, okie dokie. And then they kind of start backing up. We have girl A and B. Not really that relevant. They're kind of fodder. And then the Jacques trying to get rizzy with the birthday girl. He's like, alright, I've known you for a while. Let's go back to my house. And she's like, nuh-uh, I might be a lesbian. And then it cuts away to them trying to escape, but it's locked. It's mysteriously locked. And they're like, interesting.
In the next scene, we see how the Jacques is trying to escape, finding a way out, and he comes across Mickey Mouse inside of a playpen. He thinks it's some sort of a joke and someone is dressed up as them, trying to prank them, and he tries to dab them up, giving them props, but he just gets a weird look. Next, we cut to the birthday girls having her first encounter with Mickey Mouse. And compared to many other horror movies, she does an actually smart move and chooses to run away, as Mickey Mouse just looks at her and starts chasing her in a very slow manner. He just seems to be cautiously approaching, hoping nobody else sees him. We then cut to the third encounter of Mickey Mouse in this movie so far, which is with the goth girl, who isn't as lucky as the other two, presumably, as she actually gets attacked by him with a knife. She tries to back away, but trips as he teleports behind her somehow, and for whatever reason, a strobing light is his only weakness.
So this scene opens up with good old Mickey Mouse playing a funny little prank call on her. She's like, hello, help me. And Mickey Mouse is like, do you want to play a game? and then she's like, that's not funny, man. And then she just kind of sits there thinking about it. And then she eventually hangs up one day. And then in this next scene, Mickey Mouse goes to the emote shop. Trust me, this is important for later. It'll make sense. So we have Juan number whatever, and she's outside. She's like, "Oh my God, behind you!" And then Mickey Mouse gives her a "Where's my hug?" And then he fillets her. So that happens. She's like, "Oh my God, my friend, no!" And then she turns around. She's like, "Huh?" And then it happens again. And then her friend's like, "Ah, you can't do this." And she kind of slowly falls, and then we see the beautiful blurry screen, of course. And then he's like, hey, I'm coming for you. wah. See, I told you. He pulled out his emote. But she's not having it. He's like, hey, Mouse, come and get me through the glass. And Mickey Mouse is pointing at him like, me? You want me to come get you? And he does it again. He's just a toxic kind of guy. He's such a chill guy. Actually, wait, guys, never mind. He tried to get us demonetized. Fat L Mickey right there.
In this next scene, we see the unalivement of a character we haven't seen throughout the whole movie. The mouse has apparently put him on a roller coaster somehow, as he just goes round and round. To be honest, this doesn't really make much sense to me as to how this ends him, to put it in simple terms, as to me it just seems like unalivement by inertia, which doesn't really make sense. In this next scene, we see something very shocking. The characters are discussing how they want to escape the complex of this arcade. But surprisingly, they choose the smartest option, which is whatever they're gonna do, they should stick together through it all and not split up, which is extremely shocking to me, as this has never occurred in any other horror movie to my knowledge.
So in this next magnificent scene, we have the boys drinking at the bar. He's like, guys, you have to help me raise her up. She's a baddie. And they're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, if we scare her and I save her, then I'm a winner. They're like, oh, dude, you're smart. And you can drink. He's like, wow, guy's really extra smart. And they're like, wait a minute, who's that guy? And then the myth, the legend, Mickey Mouse shows up. And he's like, you want to play a game? No. He just stands there. They're like, hey, I'm gonna mess you up. This isn't a costume party. He's like, bro, I think he might be a little slow. He's like, yeah, I think so too. And then they're just kind of staring him down. But he's not moving. He's not flinching. Kind of just stands there menacingly for a good chunk of time. And he starts asking him questions. Bro's just trolling. He's like, uh-huh. And he's gonna be like, no. And they're like, that's not funny, man. I'm gonna beat you. And then it eventually turns into a good old staring contest. And they're just kind of like, ugh. And then eventually one of the guys decides, you know, enough is enough, and goes for the good old smack on good old Wet Willie. And then guys, we're just here for. He's like, it's time to get serious. Nails this guy. He's like, I'm a professional hockey player. He's like, okay, bro, I understand it now. And then he's kind of like, nighty night, and stands there menacingly.
In this scene, we see how Mickey Mouse is facing off the remaining of the Stooges, as the Jacques tries to approach him, thinking if he just tells him to back off, maybe he will. But as we can see, that wasn't really the brightest move, as the mouse himself gives him the Miska Muska combo, and almost unalives him, but they remember that if they just flash him, he apparently doesn't like that. But he believes in equality, so the woman doesn't really survive. Next, he just gets hit in the head by the nerd.
So we're on to the final scene. We have good old MM standing there all menacingly. He's like, time to die. She's like, oh no. She flashes him. He's like, hey, stop it. And he gets his Muska knife, throws it at her. Good old Mouska tool right there. He's like, hey, that's not very nice. And then another one shows up and he's like, hey, I'm gonna flash you too. And he's like, Muska wrench. And he kind of just stands there confused. He's like, aw. And then, you know, they're like, hey, how you doing? He's like, Muska wrench again. Misses. Absolutely terrible aim. He's going aim trainer. They turn off the lights. You know, it's rave hour in the club. Mickey's confused. He's never seen this before. And then things kind of just get spicier. You know, they full on do a Mortal Kombat finisher on him. And then he's just like, ah. So he gets smacked. Yeah, he's dropped to the ground. Like, guys, I'm gonna find you. And he starts doing his goblin noises. He's like, ah. Continues on from there. He gets good old grab. He's like, well, it's time to die, Mickey Mouse. And then she comes down from her high horse. She's like, it's high noon. She's all cocky. She's like, well, look who we have here. He's like, you're not it, Mr. Mouse. And Mickey Mouse, he's like, okay. And slices her. Actually, she's a gummy bear, guys, and she's now gone. Yeah, it turns out Mickey Mouse had that dog in him the whole time. He was just playing around. Now that the games are up, she's just kind of like, I'm gonna aura form, and dips out of there. And then and the nerd emoji's like, I didn't even get the snooze, no. Alright guys, welcome to the final review segment of the video.
This time, we are wondering, was this peak cinema?
I would say very much so, guys. This is actually incredibly juicy. We just didn't know at the time. Compared to what we normally watch, this was terrible.
This was absolutely terrible. Not good, in the slightest.
Hello everyone, this has been Peak Cinema, and for those of you that are still watching, thank you very much. This video took a very long time to get out there, so I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could like and subscribe. This has been Peak Cinema.